Ian, this day has finally come. This glorious, wondrous day that for 3 years I've been wishing for and predicting, and maybe in an email pleading with the people at Analogue for this day to happen. The Analogue Duo, their FPGA PC engine / Turbografx-16 has finally been announced. This was tweeted out on October 16th. The skies parted, the sun shone down on all of us. An all-in-one reimagining of perhaps the most underappreciated video game systems of all time. Compatible with nearly every NEC system and game format. Turbografx-16, PC Engine, SuperGrafx, Turbografx-CD, PC Engine, CD-ROM.
Do you know how you're supposed to say that? You're actually supposed to say ROM. CD-ROM. That's what the square is there for. ROM.
Okay, that's too cutesy for me.
ROM.
Okay,
Super Arcade CD-ROM, 1080p, zero lag, Bluetooth, etc. Completely engineered in FPGA. So this is fantastic. This is one of those things where I woke up and checked Twitter, and my mentions was just everyone under the planet, on the planet, making sure.
Everyone under the planet.
I've seen this under the planet
the
too.
underworld of the retro gaming community.
Weird lizard people. This is exciting to me. This is my this and the Game Boy are my two favorite systems, and Analogue has done them now 2 times in a row, ensuring that I will fret about whether or not I can get something and spend money on their devices. This is something that Pat and I have kind of posited was going to happen at some point. I did not think that Analogue would do just a PC engine with see, unlike the Sega CD, and even with the Sega CD, the CD units are out there. They're available. They are expensive now, and they are breaking down. But I did not think they would do a PC engine without trying, or a TurboGrafx without trying to put the CD attachment on. Reason being, on the Sega Genesis, the CD attachment is kind of an afterthought. On the PC engine, more so than the TurboGrafx, but on the PC engine, it's not. A good solid half of the library is the CD-based games. Many of the popular games that you think of when you think of PC Engine or TurboGrafx are the CD-based games. I did not think that they would half-ass it. They could have left the port on the side of it to attach a CD unit, but those are even harder to find than Sega CDs. They're even more expensive, and more so than the Sega CD, they're generally in worse condition. So I had a feeling that this would be the system that they would try to do the all-in-one unit on, and they are. In terms of interesting things, so it mimics a PC Engine or a Turbo Duo. It does the cards, it does the CDs, it does the import versions of both, however you want to look at it. Basically, it's region-free. But it also does SuperGrafx. SuperGrafx was a weird, poorly supported, not successful, almost like half-step upgrade to the card. Card unit. So
it's like the 32X of the PC Engine, kind of.
It was kind of their attempt to make it more like a Super Nintendo, or get it closer, more on par with what the Super and the Genesis were doing, which is funny because the PC Engine is no slouch.
No.
But there's only a handful of games released for it. Most of them are expensive. And I believe the original SuperGrafx...
It's only 5 games, yeah.
Yeah, and there's like Mad King Granzort, Dai Makaimura, which is Ghosts and Goblins.
Ghouls and Ghosts.
There's 1944.
41 Counterattack.
Okay, I don't remember what the other 2 are.
Aldines and Battle Ace.
Yeah, okay, Aldines.
So like this was their 32X. This is a failure. It looks weird as hell too, the console. It's
ugly as fuck, and there's no way to hook the CD unit up to the SuperGrafx. So this is interesting in that it's the first time you'll be able to easily switch between.
You had to buy that weird gray one to hook it up. You couldn't use a regular one. You had to buy the CD-ROM. Yeah, that other weird one that's harder to find.
So, I thought you couldn't do it at all.
I'm looking at Wikipedia. It's hooked up, but you need this one, the gray one that looks like that one.
Gotcha. So other things that were announced, the big thing is that they're doing the card adapter for the Game Boy, the Analog Pocket, which I was expecting to see. With the Pocket having 2 FPGAs, there's really no reason other than size that you wouldn't be able to, basically adapt anything into there that's cartridge based if there's an FPGA for it. So this makes sense.
It makes sense why they delayed announcement. They wanted to wait for this. Then it's like, okay, because I kind of knew that you'd have to be able to throw this on there.
Yeah. So what I wanted to talk about is when Analog generally releases a product, first of all, I realize that there are problems with Analog, their pre-ordering, and how they kind of communicate with the customers. And I'm not certain that it's going to be better this time. It already says limited supplies. I wish they would do some sort of open pre-order, especially this far out, because this is definitely going to be a shit show when it comes time to pre-order. But unlike other Analog products, you always see when they announce something like the Mega SG, the Pocket, the Analog NT, the NT. There are people who don't see the value in the purchase price. Some people do. But when you look at something like the Super NT, there's, that there is you can get a Super Nintendo for cheaper. It's not going to upscale. It's not going to be designed to, work with the TV the same way or output the same quality picture, but there's still hardware out there, that will run those games. But
there's also methods to make it HD with a cable or upscaler.
When the Pocket sold out, people were upset, but you saw a lot of people being like, I can go get a Game Boy or an SP or something like that. People figure it out. The NT or the Duo is interesting because it's the first time they've released something where the price point, you can't argue that it's not a value proposition. This is coming out at $199.99.
With a controller, with a Bluetooth controller.
With a controller. Mm-hmm. There is no such thing as any comparable NEC PC Engine or Turbo
or combo TurboGrafx-16
setup that would even come close to being as cheap as $200. That just doesn't exist. The setup that I'm using right now, a PC Engine Duo R with a RetroTink SCART 2X, an RGB mod on it, and a region mod on it. Once you factor in getting all those mods, having those mods installed, buying the unit, you are easily looking at something that is costing $500, and I could see that running up to $600 today easily. A PC Engine Duo R in good condition is probably going to run about $300. A US...
And that's before you mod it.
Before you mod it, yes. That's before you mod it. That's or if it has mods included, if you're lucky to get one off of eBay that already does, but you're still going to be paying $300 for unmodded ones too, roughly. A US Turbo Duo, I've seen those go for as much as $400, and those require almost always
recapping it.
Replacement of all the capacitors.
Mine was recapped.
They require a recap and then all the modifications and stuff on top of it. So long story short, this is the easiest way anyone will have and the cheapest
and
way.
Upscaled. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. To play this stuff, which makes this, I think, very tempting for people who have been waiting to get into PC Engine and haven't. I expect this to sell out quickly. I expect there to be lots of upset and sad people, but I'm not going, and I wish that could be avoided, but I'm also not going to lie and say I don't think this is an awesome item. I mean, yes, I want this. This is what I've been waiting for.
This is the best product they've ever come out with. I will say that. This product makes the most sense. It's the most reasonably priced for what you get. It fulfills a direct need.
Yeah, they're filling a hole that is I mean, expensive and also dying hardware.
Yes. It's also their first disk-based system that we're seeing, which is also important because I always said there has to be disk replacement systems. Like, great, we got most of the cartridge ones done. Great, that's fantastic. What about the disk stuff? And so this I don't know how many they're going to produce here, but I really hope that they reconsider how limited whatever that means to them based upon the appeal, that they at least do a second run, because this is also going to be the first time I think people are going to jump in on this that never bought this console before or experienced it, especially with the TurboGrafx Mini just came out earlier this year. So Konami is starting to get some of these games back into the public square, so to speak. I really think that this is something that could sell a lot better than you might expect. I think they should, if there was ever a thing they should take a chance on, it would be this.
Yeah, the PC Engine, and it's not just the hardware is expensive and failing. It's also not the easiest thing to figure out if you're new to it. There's many different, there's and a lot of times, the stuff is similar, but there's the PC Engine, the PC Engine core system. Do I need to know the difference between a Duo R, a Duo RX? What's bad
arcade card? What system card?
What's bad about the US one? It's not exactly a friendly.
Lots of ins, lots of outs.
Yeah, it's not a friendly ecosystem necessarily for new collectors. So yes, I agree. This is kind of a one-stop thing, and I do think that, like I had said, like you said, lots of people who have been thinking about it for a while will say, okay, if I can get this, then I will start buying PC Engine stuff.
I like the fact that there's not a lot of moving parts. It's not a tray. It looks like one of those pop-in things, and you press a button, it'll pop out the disc. It looks like it's not an actual tray. You have to worry about that. It would have been nice to have kept it with a pop-up.
Yeah,
but probably an expense thing. It's probably hard to get that nowadays, that tech, versus just a little slide-in thing, I guess.
Yeah, if I have one design problem, it's that, because those motors can go. I would have much preferred just a flip top that you can, drop the CD in. But yeah, I don't know. The only other thing that seems kind of uncertain is they don't outright say if you will need the arcade card or not. It does say Super Arcade CD-ROM up in the top big text. It also says that down below, but technically original PC Engines were compatible with those too. You needed the arcade card. So I don't know if the arcade card would be built in. I would think it would be, but I'm just surprised they did not clarify that.
I think that, I don't think they want people to get this and have to go out and buy a $30 or whatever, $40 arcade card.
Also, I realize that these are 30 or 40. You think 30 or 40? That's
when I bought mine.
Yeah, no.
Well, it says right here, Super Arcade CD-ROM on this website.
I pointed that out. I don't know if it'll do. Hopefully it'll do it without the card. It just doesn't say it specifically. Also, I realized that these are renders, but all the pictures of the cards going into the system show the card going really deep into the system. There are a few PC Engine games that are in thicker cards. The Street Fighter 2 CE has a thicker card. So basically, they're thin on the front. Well, you have Street Fighter 2, don't you?
Yeah.
It's thin on the front, but then it bubbles up and it's fatter in the back, so they can put more chips in it. Mm-hmm. Also, I believe Populous does that. So if you have to stick the card in as far as it shows, it's not going to be able to fit those cards. I'm assuming that is something they will take care of. Like I said, it's just a render, but that's something that I thought of.
I'm sure they'll figure that out because that would stink that you can't play a few cards like that.
Especially because the Street Fighter port on Turbo is very, very good, and it's definitely something. Well, it's one of the first games most people want to get when they pick up a PC Engine or Turbos, because it's a miracle that fucking port is as good as it is. But it's amazing.
It says it right there. I mean, compatibility: Hue cards, Turbo chip, CD-ROM, Super CD-ROM, Arcade CD-ROM. It's right there. Region free worldwide compatibility. Scanline options, scalar options.
Yeah, we all know that. That's typical stuff at this point.
That's it's 1080 or 720p or even 480p, lag free, zero signal, blah blah blah. It has two USB ports for your own controllers, or it has the original, I guess, PC Engine port.
It uses the turbo port.
Oh, it's using the turbo one?
I think it says it uses the turbo port.
Oh, it is the bigger. That's kind of. Well, there's a lot more turbo controllers out there. You can get an adapter for a PC Engine one anyway. If
there are adapters, yes.
Yeah, I mean that's actually smart, because there's not too many. Well, US ones. It's hard to find a US Turbo Duo controller, but okay, that's great. Actually, that's great that they did that. If you want the multiplayer, I guess you still got to use that good old turbo tap. There's no way around that. You got to turbo tap it, and it's kind of cute that they only have the one, I guess. Original style cartridge slot, two USBs, SD card firmware updating, Bluetooth, 2.4G, and 2 USBs. There you go. And it supports the analog DAC that we spoke about. Like last year we talked about that at the time. And then the controller has a 20-hour battery life. Wow, that's damn good. There you go. So yeah, I'm in. I'm in for this for sure.
Yep.
I mean, I was in for the Pocket as well. The Pocket, there'll probably be a second print run eventually, but I'm in.
They said they were going to do another. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, I mean, they've done second print runs for stuff because they realized there was demand for it, but they really want to make sure that, I guess, the demand's there before they do it for some of this. But yeah, this is gonna sell out. When I saw $200, I was like, holy shit. Like,
yeah,
they could have charged $300 for this, and people were gonna buy it.
I sent it to one of my friends who is usually very, very skeptical of stuff like this, and he was like, "This looks neat," and then he was like, "Wait a second, 200?" And I was like, "Yeah, $200." And he's like, "Okay, yeah, that's a game changer." And I was like,
"Yeah, this is no longer."
Truly,
well, I gotta think about it. It's like, no, there's no
thinking. It's just do it.
Will this bring down the price, you think, of the modded stuff a bit?
Someone asked. I don't think it will. It could. It has the potential to, but I don't think it's going to bring the price of anything down. This is going to sell out very quickly, and all it's going to do is raise the price of the Analogue Duo to the price of what people are buying.
If people scalp them more.
If not more. I think it's going to make the price of this very expensive. It's not going to... You would have to release... I think you could bring the price of the official modded hardware down. Yeah, you could.
I think
but you would need to release more of them than Analog is probably going to release.
Let's say they do 5,000 or 10,000.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to have any meaningful effect on...
Okay. Well, let's say if I was in the market for one of those, I'd wait for this, obviously, because like, okay, I'm
sure. And then if you don't get it, you can go back to. But like I said, I don't think that's going to actually change the price of anything meaningfully.
Okay. I think if I had a choice, I think I'd go for the white one because I already have a Turbo Duo, obviously, and I have a Turbo Duo in the box that I got from Nintendo Dan.
I think the US Duo looks dumb.
You don't like that?
I don't. So I would definitely go the white one. Yeah, I don't like the black one.
Get some Butterfinger fingers on there though. Yeah. Some cheese fingers. Good job, Analog. I mean, let's put it this way. When I had asked kind of in emails, hey guys, you working on this? I get like non-answers. I'm like, okay, this is happening because I got all the other FPGAs worked out for like 8-bit and 16-bit for the most part. They're all done in one form or another. So the question remains: after this, do they try to do a Sega Saturn one? That'd be the second biggest deal if they did a Sega Saturn one like this. That would be huge.
I wouldn't necessarily be interested in that for me, but if they did, that would be something I would absolutely look into for Vonnie. But
because it's the same sort of issue versus like the Turbo Duo.
Yeah, I mean, and it's getting to the point where Saturns are falling apart. And they are getting more expensive, and they're just getting harder to find. And while the the optical drive emulation emulators exist, and I think they're great, I think there are people who still would want to be able to put their discs in and play their discs.
Lots of people have the games.
Yeah.
It's hardware preservation. It's fantastic.
And that's kind of my thing. Like, people always talk about how you can crack and do all that stuff with the analog stuff too, which makes a definite, which increases people's interest in it. But honestly, the reason I go after these is because I already have a large physical collection of the games for PC Engine and Game Boy. If I didn't, I honestly wouldn't be nearly as interested. I could find something cheaper to use as an emulating device if I just wanted to load something up with ROMs.
Sure. I'm just glad that it says on the website clearly that this is limited here. Because I went back and looked at all the Game Boy social media. The very first announcement
for the first one
Pocket, like a year and a half ago, said this is going to be limited. After that, they never said it again. So no one had any idea.
Right.
It was lost. So maybe they learned that, okay, we should say it's limited right now so people aren't pissed if this sells out in 10, 15 minutes, So, all right, Ian, we're going to plan for this. If you get up early, get one for good old Pat, and I'll pay you. I'll bet.
Right. Will do.
I should have said that for the Pocket. I had no idea with the Pocket that it was limited. And I wake up, oh, it's gone. Fuck.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's nuts.